A long-awaited getaway reunites 6 college friends in a remote cultural town, only to unravel into a chilling test of loyalty, fear, and sacrifice. As ancient rituals awaken, choices must be made, and betrayal may be the price of survival. Sit tight, this story grips deep, and it won't let go till the very last heartbeat. They had been inseparable since college. Alex, Tracy, Tony, Ruby, Matt, and Ani. 6 souls bound not just by friendship, but by the trials that either break people apart or forge a bond that lasts a lifetime. Through sleepless study nights, heartbreaks, near failures, and unexpected triumphs, their friendship endured. Even after graduation, life couldn't pull them apart. They all remained in the same city, never missing a Friday night out, or their sacred Sunday drinks. For them, tradition wasn't just habit, it was the glue. But there was always one dream they hadn't touched. A getaway. Something simple, unforgettable, just the 6 of them. They had planned it over and over, during final exams, at graduation dinners, during birthdays and engagements, but somehow, life kept getting in the way. Until this year. Nothing extravagant. No overpriced resorts or cliché beaches. Matt had found it. A hidden gem called Kabuna. A modest resort nestled in the heart of a quiet town, known for its untouched beauty and deep cultural roots. It wasn't popular in mid-June. In fact, visitors were advised to avoid the area around that time. That's when the indigenous Kabu tribe held their sacred festivals. Rituals cloaked in secrecy, unfamiliar, and often unsettling to outsiders. The town almost became a world of its own. But that only intrigued Matt. A white American, average in height but built like a man who lived in the gym, much of his life was with his fans on social media. A social media influencer, Matt had a heart that craved the unknown. He saw the festival season as a blessing in disguise. Cheaper rates, fewer tourists, and a rare chance to be fully immersed in the present. And so they said yes. Yes to a long-awaited escape. Yes to the unknown. Yes to the silence of the Kabuna forests, and whatever mysteries the mid-June air might bring. They weren't just going on a trip. They were about to write the chapter of their lives they never got to start in college. There hadn't been a better opportunity to reconnect. When Matt proposed the idea, everyone jumped in. Everyone except Tracy. Tracy, the stunning blonde who once turned heads across campus, hesitated. She had never mapped out a clear career path after college, but she possessed an uncanny sixth sense, one that had saved the group more than once. Yet, she was also the most cautious, the most afraid of what she couldn't control. There's a reason people are warned not to go to Kabu in mid-June. She murmured, arms crossed, staring out the window. I don't know about this, guys. It became her mantra every 20 minutes as they drove through unfamiliar terrain. But the rest of the group, drunk on nostalgia and laughter, barely heard her. The SUV buzzed with old jokes, stories from college, and playful banter. Alex was behind the wheel, focused, composed at a clean-cut Nigerian icon with a sharp mind and a sharper sense of responsibility. He was the only one among them to land a 6-figure tech job right out of school. Alex didn't talk much, but when he did, people listened. And with him driving, they felt safe. Untouchable. What could possibly go wrong? They had been on the road for just over an hour when they reached a fork. Left led directly to Kabuna. Only 30 minutes more, according to the signs. But the path was blocked. Thick logs sprawled across the road like fallen giants, clearly from the surrounding forest. It wasn't just debris. It looked deliberate. Right in the middle of the road stood a tall man. His skin was sun-kissed, his eyes unnaturally bright, almost glowing. He didn't say a word, just lifted an arm and pointed down the alternate path to the right. Ruby instinctively pulled out her phone to double-check the map. Ruby, the quiet genius of the group. Mixed race, long curly hair cascading behind her shoulders, glasses perched on her nose like a professor from another life. She was a psychotherapist, driven by a fascination with the human mind. She'd written entire books on intuition, fear, and the psychology of belief. Her voice broke the tension. It says we're supposed to go left. The resort's that way. Everyone looked toward the man again. He hadn't moved. Not an inch. There was something about him, his unnatural stillness, the eerie silence that hung around him like fog. It wasn't just the logs or the direction. It was the air. The kind of quiet that makes you feel like the world is holding its breath. Ruby squinted at the compass. Her brow furrowed. This road he's pointing to, it's going in the opposite direction. She didn't want to say it out loud, but she felt it in her gut. Something was very wrong. Laughter echoed through the car, bouncing off windows and weaving through the thickening trees. Tony was in his element, cracking jokes, reliving wild college memories, making everyone laugh so hard their stomachs ached. For a brief moment, it felt like old times again. But then, Tony stopped. His eyes, half-focused from laughter, suddenly sharpened. He turned his head, slowly, and froze. Far behind the car, barely visible through the settling dust, a group of men stood motionless, dressed in full cabot ceremonial wear, their bodies painted, their expressions cold. Spears and machetes hung from their hands like extensions of their will. "Did anybody see those men behind us?" Tony asked, voice tight. The laughter died instantly. The mood shifted. Everyone turned. Nothing. Just the winding road behind them. Empty. Even Alex, ever calm, flicked a glance into the rearview mirror. Still nothing. They stared. Waited. Listened. Nothing but wind and engine hum. Tony leaned forward, pressing his face close to the window. He was sure. He knew what he saw. Then BM. A brutal slam on the brakes. Tires screeched. Bodies lurched forward. Hearts raced. The car came to a screeching halt. There, right in front of them, standing as if dropped from the sky, the same cabot men Tony saw behind them, now blocking the road ahead. Annie screamed, sharp, frightened, real. How did they get there so fast? Tony whispered, jaw clenched. Oh my God, what's going on? Annie gasped, clutching the seat in front of her. She was shaking. Annie, the soft-spoken Indian American with a gentle spirit, had always been a part of the group, but never quite at the center. In college, she stayed away from the chaos, the partying, the recklessness. She often wished she had the courage to do more, to be more. Especially when it came to Tony. She never told him, but she liked him. Really liked him. There was something about his bad boy charm. The smirk. The wild eyes. The way he never took anything seriously, but somehow always got what he wanted. Tony, the Black American king of campus hustle. Charismatic. Sharp. Dangerous. A musician who won hearts with his voice and shattered them with his lies. He once ran a campus-wide scam selling Beyoncé-signed hoodies, promising backstage passes to concerts he never attended, and even claimed he could fix grades through secret connections. His charm was lethal. His stories were gold. And no one, not even his friends, fully trusted him. But still Annie cared. As the cabot men stood like statues in the road, the forest thickened around them. The trees seemed to lean in, and the wind stopped. No one spoke. Tony swallowed. For the first time in a long time, he was scared too. And deep in her heart, Annie knew. This wasn't one of Tony's stunts. This was real. And they were no longer just tourists. They had just crossed into something they didn't understand. The men stood firm, unmoving, like carved statues of flesh and bone. One of them raised a hand slowly, gesturing for them to get out of the vehicle. Alex's knuckles tightened around the steering wheel. No, he muttered, shifting into gear. He tried to move forward. Then, more men appeared behind them, blocking any chance of reversing. Hit them all and drive through. Tony barked, adrenaline rising. But before Alex could react, sharp tire spikes clattered across the road, thrown skillfully at their wheels. The car jolted violently, a hiss of air, then collapse. All four tires shredded. They were stuck, trapped. From the shadows stepped the one who had given them directions earlier. His eyes gleamed in the dying light. "Visitors," he said, voice calm and deep. "I see you have come to join our rituals. We are honored. You will be given the opportunity." Alex leaned out of the window, trying to reason with him. "We're not here for that. We didn't know. We can just leave, no harm done. Let's forget this ever happened." The man shook his head slowly. "It doesn't work that way," he said. "You're here now, and that means you are part of it." "And what if we don't want to be?" Alex snapped. Before the words fully left his mouth, a massive stone came hurtling through the air, smashing the windshield with brutal force. Glass shattered. The rock thudded onto the dashboard, a silent threat. Silence. Then panic. Reality began to sink in. They weren't going anywhere. Ani's breath quickened. "They're going to kill us," she whispered, shaking. "We shouldn't have come. We should never have come." "We just want to talk," the leader said, stepping closer, his face still unreadable. "You're not prisoners." "Not yet." "Let's not go," Tracy said, her voice trembling. "I don't trust them. This feels wrong." "None of us trust them," Ruby replied, barely holding herself together. "But what choice do we have?" One by one they opened the doors and stepped out of the car. Fear clung to them like sweat. Their feet hit the earth, but the danger wasn't just around them. It was within them. "Welcome," the leader said, spreading his arms wide. "Very few outsiders ever get this chance, to be part of the Kabu festival, to be one with our sacred forest." He walked around them slowly, like a lion inspecting its prey. "Your task is simple, try to escape. If you succeed, you leave safely. But if we catch you, then you may need to choose one of you. One life, one soul, to nourish the forest." He paused. "Each year, this is how the land continues to flourish. One blood offering and the forest lives on. If it flourishes, we all do." The words struck like thunder. "That's sick," Ani cried, backing away. "No, I won't be part of this." She turned to run, just a few frantic steps into the trees. Then a sharp whistle cut through the air. Thunk! An arrow pierced her back, dropping her to the ground. A gasp escaped her lips. "Ani!" Tracy screamed, rushing forward but being held back. Tony stood frozen, eyes wide, blood draining from his face. The leader didn't flinch. "That was not part of the ceremony. There are rules. You must understand. We all must obey the forest." Their blood turned electric, hearts pounding like war drums. The leader's voice sliced through the air. "That is what happens when someone disobeys the rules. You go only when we say you do. There is no escaping this." He raised his arm. "Let the rituals begin." Suddenly, the forest exploded with sound, raw ancient drums, pounding deep from within the trees. The Kabu men danced in rhythm, chanting in a language older than time. Panic set in. Without thinking, the friends turned and bolted into the forest, stumbling over roots and thorns, breath heaving, lungs burning. No plan, just instinct. Run. Leaves whipped past their faces. Branches clawed at their clothes. The path was uneven, wild and thick. But the fear behind them was worse. They ran hard, but then, the drums grew louder. Not behind them, ahead. They stopped, confused, breathing hard, eyes wide. The Kabu were ahead. Somehow. Again. The leader's voice rose like smoke from the trees. "You may have to decide now. Who among you will bless the forest with their blood?" Silence. Then from the group, Tony spoke, sharp and cold. "I think it should be Matt. You brought us here, didn't you?" Matt turned, stunned. "What? Are you serious?" We all agreed. "You're blaming me now." "One vote," said the leader. "Looks like it's you, Matt." "No." Ruby stepped forward, anger in her eyes. "If anyone should be chosen, it's Tony. He'd sell us out in a heartbeat to save himself." "She's right," said Alex, voice low and reluctant. "You've always been about yourself." They all turned. Once friends, now potential executioners. Tony's smile vanished. He looked at them, each face familiar and distant at the same time. The leader watched, amused. "You've begun the ceremony already. The forest thanks you." They ran again. This time slower, heavier. Guilt burned inside them. What were they becoming? Ruby clutched the map, her knuckles white. Without it, they were blind. But she was leading them away from the route. They didn't realize it yet. Deeper. Darker. They ran. Then drums again. Louder. Closer. And torches flickered in the distance. They were caught. Again. The leader emerged from the shadows, calm as ever. "Here we are once more. And the forest still waits. You may need to choose again." He stepped forward, eyes glowing in the firelight. "Who will it be this time?" Matt stood trembling, his chest rising and falling rapidly. His voice cracked as he pointed at Alex. "You and Ruby, you were supposed to guide us. We trusted you." Alex turned slowly, his jaw tightening. Are you serious right now? You brought us here. You, Matt, chose this place. You wanted this. Admit it. Tracy's voice cut through the trees, venom laced with heartbreak. You've always had that unhealthy obsession with the unknown. Don't pretend this wasn't about your content, your fans. You brought us here to capture something strange and forbidden. Something to post. You did this. The air hung heavy. The others didn't speak. Their silence was louder than words. A quiet betrayal. A painful verdict. Matt fell to his knees. Please. But before another word left his lips, an arrow struck him clean in the chest. He collapsed to the soil. Just another offering. No scream. No rage. Just a numb acceptance of a fate too cruel to deserve. And then they ran again. Hearts broken. Souls bleeding. But the forest grew darker. Thicker. Endless. Ruby came to a sudden stop. Wait, she gasped, flipping open the map and compass. The others turned, panting, confused. Have you noticed we're going the wrong way? We keep going opposite of what the compass shows. We're running away from the exit. Alex frowned. What are you saying? That we should just stop? Let them kill us? Ruby held her ground. No. But think about what the leader said. He didn't say someone must die. He said we may have to choose. May. Her voice steadied. We can't outrun them. This is their forest. They know every root and shadow. We have one chance. Not to run, but to stand together. A beat passed. For the first time, a flicker of hope. But then the drums came again. Closer. Louder. Surrounding them. From the shadows, the leader emerged. Who is it going to be? Silence. Then Alex spoke. Cold. Calculated. His words sliced through Tracy like steel. Tracy, I think it should be you. She blinked, stunned. What? You're sweet. But sweetness doesn't change the world. Impact does. Ruby has helped hundreds of people. Her work matters. She's changing lives. He stepped forward, as if making a case to a jury. And I work with NGOs. I've done good, I still can do good. But you, Tracy, you've been scared of the world your whole life. You don't help people. You don't even help yourself. Ruby gasped. Alex, stop. But Tracy was already crying, devastated. You think I'm worthless? She whispered. You think that because I don't have a big career, I don't matter? That's not what I said, Alex replied, but there was no emotion in his tone. The Kaboom men stood in silence, waiting. The leader tilted his head. So it is decided? Ruby stepped forward, trembling but fierce. I can't agree with that, Alex, she said, her voice hoarse with pain. If I had to choose, I should choose you. Not just because of what you did to Tracy, but because you've decided your righteousness, your so-called impact, is enough reason someone else has to die. Her eyes met his. Not with hate, with heartbreak. You still think you deserve to be safe, because of your relevance. But none of us are safe, not unless we stand together. And if it came down to just me and you, I know we'd both die, because you'd choose me, and I'd choose you. A long silence. Tracy placed a hand on Ruby's shoulder. Ruby's right. We have to stand together, she whispered. Alex shook his head, voice breaking. How are you so sure that'll work? You don't know that. The women didn't respond. They simply turned their backs on him, eyes brimming with tears. And then another cry. Another fall. Another death. Alex's body slumped to the earth. His self-worth had become his downfall. They ran again, but exhaustion took hold. The drumbeats behind them grew fainter, but their breath was gone. Their strength drained. They stopped, and in that moment of stillness something changed. They looked at one another, Tracy and Ruby, torn, tired, broken, but unafraid. The drums stopped. The Kaboo emerged again from the forest like shadows. Their leader stepped forward, face unreadable. So, you won't even try to escape? Then tell me, who is it going to be? Ruby met his gaze firm. No one. We've had enough. You said we may need to choose someone. We're saying we won't. A beat. Then the leader spoke, not with anger, but with something almost like respect. The heart of man will betray its own to survive. That is the truth we've seen for centuries. He began to pace slowly in front of them, voice calm yet full of history. Long ago, our people offered human sacrifices, chosen by their own tribes, to bless the land. In return, the forest gave back food, strength, life. But when the world changed, the tribes stopped. Still, the rituals remained hidden, waiting. Every year during festival season, some wanderers like you arrive, and we offer them a choice. His eyes rested on Ruby. But only once in many years does someone choose not to betray. You didn't run to survive, you stood. You outsmarted fear. He stepped aside. You may go. We have no need for blood the forest wouldn't accept. Ruby and Tracy stood in silence, shaking, stunned. They walked past the very kaboom men they once fled from in terror. Through the forest. Through the nightmare. Into the light. A few days later, barefoot and without IDs, they burst into the U.S. Embassy, rambling half-coherent tales no one believed, but still they were flown home. What they left behind was never found. Not Matt. Not Alex. Not the truth. But they had survived. And somewhere deep within them, a haunting wisdom lingered. It is only when we stop being afraid of death that we may truly start to live.